Good morning, guys. This is Stephen Howard and my dog Yucca and Rio. Just out here in the Spring Mountains. Beautiful sunrise. It's about 7:15. In the morning. It doesn't sunrise here until much later because the red rocks and the mountains on the other side block the sun. So it gives us a little more time to rest without that intense desert sun. I just wanted to show you up here. It's pretty neat, the dead trees. And there's something on top of the rock out there. Might be a cat or a person. Not sure. But this is a beautiful area where I'm camped out, the Spring Mountain Wilderness. I was pretty upset the last video before this one. My car wasn't working real well. And I actually did some meditation on my car, and I was like, it's a brand new starter, so it's not the starter. So it was actually the points connection to the battery, and those had gotten corroded and loose, especially on the positive side. And it was showing like a drained battery. I got a jump, and I didn't need a jump because as soon as I tightened those up, I got my starter back and I got my power to my vehicle back. So I'm not a mechanic by any means, but I changed the fuel pump in my truck. I had to get a mechanic to do the transmission and the water pump. I probably could have done the water pump myself, but I just didn't have the tools or ability at the time. Well, whatever it is up on top of that rock, it's gone now. But that is where the lions are. There's a lion's den for mountain lions over there. It's a big cave. Anyway, it triggered my PTSD. It triggered a bunch of stuff came up that obviously isn't healed. And I'm really, really trying to heal. I'm really trying to give myself closure on situations, give myself the benefit of the doubt. Yesterday I was talking about intrinsic value and how, we all have had our life where we have so much life experience and so much things that we've learned or we've also manifested in our lives. And it's really easy to kind of write yourself off like, oh, I don't know, your intrinsic value, how you feel about yourself, what you feel like you have to offer the world, someone else. That value is made up by you, not by anybody else, not how other people view you, see you, not what they think of you. None of it. And unfortunately, it could be the closest people to you. It could be your parents, could be your siblings, could be your extended family. It could be a lover, a boss, friends, whoever your peer group is. What their belief is of you does not make your value to them. And it does not make your value to yourself or to anyone else in your life. My intrinsic value is probably around $110 million. And if that sounds really arrogant, it's not. I'm a motocross racer. I'm a rock climber, a surfer, a kayaker. I just haven't had the money to create my film. If I could create my movie, if I had enough equipment, enough friends, enough volunteers, and enough paid actors, film crew, a production schedule, location schedule, and a budget, I would create a major motion picture. And I'm a movie aficionado. You can ask me about any movie, any scene from any movie, and I'll be like Rain Man. I'll be like, yeah, he said this and he did this and this is what happened. And goes for music too. So I grew up around the 70s and 80s music in Lake Tahoe, and my parents were really into entertainment. My dad was a diamond broker and had a lot of entertainers as friends. And I grew up as a rich kid, and then slowly watched my parents' marriage crumble, and then watched people lose everything. And then I eventually crumbled and lost everything. So, people try to say, "Oh, you're a bum. You live out of your car. You're this, you're that. You're crazy. You talk to angels. You have guides." I don't have any guides. They don't understand. They haven't seen the writing on the wall yet, or had the awakening, or had the quickening. If you watch Highlander, I've had the quickening as well, which is where you're trained like a Jedi, and you're able to do things physically at an age you shouldn't be able to do them. I'm almost 50 years old, and I want to buy an e-foil and start foil boarding. It's not a wingsuit. I'm not going to go risk it all, but I want to do things that make me enjoy life and enjoy where I'm at. Give me something to do that, other than healing and putting my energy out there, I need to start working on myself and putting the energy back in. So, I don't know if this is making sense this morning. I never know if it's making sense because it's kind of channeled. It's not kind of channeled, it's channeled. I've been working on this channel for 238 videos. And what I can tell you is that whether I'm emotional mess or whether I'm rock solid, always know that I'm vulnerable. And being vulnerable is brave. Being vulnerable to people, letting them know your emotional state is brave. To let people in is brave. To try and love again, try to release all of the past baggage of loss and all the things that have gone on, to renew yourself and be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. That is really the key. That's the key. That's what's going to make it different. And this whole thing has been very different for me. And then you add a pandemic, and you add all the riots and looting, and then you add California burning, and Oregon and Washington, and Montana's having fire problem. So to me, we all have to start looking at things from a different perspective. That what happened will change everything forever. And that change will bring an awakening to a massive amount of people. And then those people that are awakened are no longer going to be accepting what used to be. I believe what used to be was unsustainable. I believe what we're currently living in is unsustainable. Unless I'm growing my own food, and unless I'm, following the likes of Jim Gale and some of the other people on Facebook, I don't think we're going to make it the way we're supposed to make it. If you don't want your kids to starve, I suggest you start growing your own food. if you want your own medicine, if you want something to trade. In Montana, all the farmers are spending all their time growing tomatoes and all that sort of stuff, and they have an abundance of that stuff. And then some guy who's a hunter or a butcher or a rancher with cattle, he needs his vegetables, and they're really expensive every month. So he makes a trade deal. So he gives up, here, I'll give you X amount of beef if you give me X amount of produce. And I think it's about 4 or 5 pounds to 1. So it actually works out pretty good for both people, because a pound of vegetable food, 2-3 tomatoes could be a pound. So, a pound of beef can cost, if it's a market bought pound of beef, it could be $25. And I'm just thinking outside of the box that what we've got to do is start changing the way we live. Start hiking in the morning, start rock climbing again, start doing things that are going to physically enable you to make it and survive. Come on, guys, this way. Make it and survive. If we're all out of shape and we're all eating too much and we're all eating the wrong stuff, then what's that going to do? And what's that do to our children? Then our children become obese and they follow our habits. But if you're athletic and you surf and rock climb and kayak and do all this stuff, your kids are going to do all that stuff too. And it's genetic. Somehow by you doing your stuff, they end up doing their stuff. And I've seen it. Both my daughters, Samantha and Marley, are incredible athletes. And, I'm really proud of Samantha. She's an EMT in New Mexico. And I'm really proud of Marley. She's an honor student, and at 7 years old already knows how to surf, kayak, paddleboard, rock climb, skateboard, ride a bike. So, get out there and do something this morning. Get the fresh part of the day. Before you had any breakfast or any coffee or any stimulants, just get out and do your thing, and get that natural wake up, that natural endorphin. And, people are always trying to put some sort of substance in their body, be it alcohol or sleeping pills or whatever it is, and especially during this pandemic, I can't sleep, I better take a sleeping pill. Well, if you can't sleep, maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to tire yourself out. Maybe you need to get really tired. And then sleep as long as you can. And just really enjoy your leisure, your lumber. I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer said, when a man or a woman sleeps in their slumber as they lie on their beds, angels are speaking to them. Basically, that's the quiet time, the time that you refill your mind with positive affirmation and dream about how your life could be if you just take time to make the proper decisions. We all have decisions to make every day. And I watch people and they're making decisions like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do that. And that can sometimes lead to catastrophe. I much rather say, okay, I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about that. But I'm going to take a while and I'm going to see what the universe wants to do about it. Because I can't guide myself. I'm divinely guided. So people don't understand that. They're like, well, why don't you make a plan? Why don't you go get a job? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I'm like, because the divine hasn't decided yet, and I believe that I have a fate that's much greater than doing that or this. I'll do that or this to survive, but the divine has some major plan much greater than me or you, and I'm not going to let you decide what I should or should not do. So call me crazy, but I've been, for months and months and months now, I've been operating on the divine. That, board of directors decides what I do and who I'm around and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And, if I'm wrong, I haven't been wrong because I'm on the path and I feel it. I mean, look, I'm on it. It's a rocky path. But it's the path. It's much better than being over there. It's much better than being over there. To be on the path. And it takes, it takes commitment. You got to be committed to it. That there's nothing going to change in your life unless it's divinely orchestrated. Unless one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, how did this happen? How did this happen? How did this wonderful thing happen? And it's because you stayed on the path. It's because you worked on yourself and you never strayed. And you never used free will against the divine. That you healed and that you took atonement and you paid your penance, that your debt, your karmic debt is paid in full. You don't have any more karma to pay, so even if people try to do bad shit to you, you're protected. You're divinely protected. God does really love you. The universe does really love you. And it's really true. Every time I'm feeling like I don't have shit and I don't know what I'm going to do and my car's breaking down and all this stuff, I just calm down, take a deep breath, and the message that I get is, hey, check the battery. Hey, check this, check that. See if the fuel pump is whirling. Is the fuel pump whirling? Oh, there's no electricity. Why is there no electricity? Oh, because there's a buildup on your positive. So whenever you're having car problems, don't rely on a mechanic. Figure it out yourself and then do something about it. And it'll be much cheaper at the mechanic. I assure you, he would have charged us for a new starter. So, good mechanic or not, we're in a time when stupidity makes people money. Look at the mask people. Look at how many masks they're selling. So, hey, I got an idea. Let's recover the economy by selling masks. Okay. Yeah, the pandemic's really bad. If you die of a motorcycle accident, it was coronavirus. So, as we're here on the path, early morning, waking up without coffee yet, just realize, go easy on yourself. That we all take time to wake up. We all take time to nurture ourselves. We all take time for self-care. Take a really long hot shower today. Wash yourself up, steam your face, boil a rag and then get it cool enough that you can touch it on your face and then put it on your face until it cools off and really get all of the toxins out of your body. Self-care, self-love, getting back to basics, taking a hike in the morning with the dogs. It's good for them. It's good for you. I might go rock climbing today if it's not too hot, but it seems like it's going to be another really hot day. I've had guided messages, and that is someone from the past. I don't know if it's a lover or a friend or a business person. They are coming back, and they're going to apologize, and they're also going to help finance a new business. And they're going to come back and say, hey, it could be family. You know, they could be like, hey, we've watched you for months now, and you're constantly improving yourself, and the things that you're doing now are way different than before, and we want to help you to get your YouTube channel up to the level it should be, and we want to help you get your rafting and kayak business off the ground in Montana. So, you know, financial risk is really no risk, no reward. You know, people take risks all the time. They get burned. My brother burned some people, and you know, I've been through some business where I got burned.